All right, guys, welcome back to the pod. Kings of the North. I am Sam. To my right is Sam. To below me is Tyler, and to the diagonal of me down there is Zack. I'm a Packers fan. Sam's a Lions fan. Tyler's a Vikings fan, as you can see, and then Zack is a Bears fan. So kind of want to get right into it. We left off last week, which I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna get that edited this weekend. I'll end up posting it this weekend along with this one, so we'll get both posted at the same time. But we left off before 53 man cuts, I believe, and after discussing some 53 man cuts, some moves happened, some things happened. But kind of what I want to start with and what I want to get caught up to speed with first is some of the surprising moves that were made on the 53 man roster. Now, for me, a surprising move that we made was we kept Bo Melton as cornerback four. Um, Seeing Bo Melton make the roster was something I predicted. I knew he was playing really well, playing out of his mind at corner. Kind of unreal to see a player transition to a position this fast in their career, after being this far into their career, I should say. But that also meant that Kalen King didn't make the roster. And that was someone we actually spent a draft pick on. So it was kind of shocking to see Bo Melton make the roster and actually take a high tier position in the cornerback four room in a very not so deep room. He has all the potential to take over the position and be a starter in that role. But right now he's growing at the position. The person I think is going to make the biggest impact, though, and I'll get into a little bit later on why, is both Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse. Both those guys being on the D line are going to add a lot of volume to an already deep D line room. Knowing you have Carl Brooks there, you have Colby Wooden there, you have Devontae Wyatt there, it's kind of impressive to see the room is so young and so talented, and those guys are only going to make it better. They're already solid pieces. They're young. They're hungry, but I think that they could be solid additions to the team. Um, so after that, I'm gonna get started with Sam. Sam, what moves did your team make? What was a surpriser for you?
I think the biggest surprise was Ahmed Hassanein. I think that's how you say his name. He's the uh, what's his face? Is he the Egyptian? Pretty sure. But anyways, he was our edge guy, like kind of a depth guy at rookie, but like um, a lot of Lions fans had high hopes for him. But he was waived on like an injury settlement. I don't really know, like they're not super clear on like what exactly that was, but I actually have a feeling that be- because of the injury, nobody else is going to pick him up, and the Lions know that. And so to save an IR spot, I think that they cut him knowing that towards the end of the season that he's going to be available for them to pick back up without them having to use an IR spot. So I think it saves money and also like frees up an IR spot, but also it's like you drafted him. It just feels really early. I don't know. You see other teams do that. I mean, other teams will cut players that they drafted in this year's draft, and it feels like a waste of a draft pick. But sometimes you just don't know until they get rolling. But I think that's my biggest surprise.
Well, seeing the Lions, I mean, you guys had so many injuries last year, and you still came about being the one of the deepest rosters in the league at a high position. I mean, you were number two in the NFC, um, putting up tons of points, going forward on fourth down with like a bare bones roster on defense. Like it was kind of
Yeah,
interesting to see the aggressiveness out of the team.
I mean
Um,
it worked until it didn't though. Um, it worked until it didn't. So
Duty calls. He's got a wife and a young kiddo in the background. That's why he's got this kind of like default Discord background. No, I don't know how old Sam's kid is. He's pretty young, but
he's
like,
like one in
my kid's a
a couple
year.
months.
Sorry, we were talking about
Um,
our
oh
grocery
no, it's
list.
all
no,
good.
Um, anyway,
yeah,
Sam being a good father. There we
so,
go.
I w-
so
I was saying that the Lions they did well until they didn't, and that was when it really mattered, right? The teams who win the Super Bowl and they go far in the playoffs are the teams who stay healthy. The Lions weren't healthy all season, and somehow made it work into the playoffs, and that's great and all, but like even towards the last couple games of the season and the ones that we did win in the playoffs was just it didn't feel good. The wins didn't feel like it was sustainable. So when we lost, it was like really sad because everybody was like, "This is our season," but at the same time, like I wasn't surprised because of how many injuries we had. I'm like, it's not sustainable. And so hopefully this year, like maybe we prioritize not going 100% of the game if we don't have to. Like if we are up 20 points, I'm okay with Kyle Allen coming in and running that team. We're not trying to score. We're just trying to keep the ball away. And it just is a part of the game of football. There's a reason why teams do that. And I'm all for being aggressive, but if we saw last year what happened if we did that, and I just don't want that to happen this year.
Being aggressive on fourth down and throwing a trick play in the playoffs are two completely different things. Like you're
About trick plays, I'm talking about like when you're up 20 to 30 points and in the beginning of the fourth quarter, it's like you can put in your backups and just let them run the show. You
yeah,
just have to play
okay.
smart football. I'm not saying don't be aggressive. Go for it on fourth, but when it's time to put the backups in the game, like maybe we do just put them in this time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know,
Tyler, what
instead
was
of the
your
Lions being tryhards, where like I feel like every time they're up like 21 plus, it's like stop, they're already dead, and it's like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they're still trying to like go for two. I'm like, come on, this is
well,
Yeah, I
like
mean
some Matt Nagy crap. Like
there's a
Matt
sweet
Nagy would
spot
do that
to it.
all the time.
I'll
There's
also
a
say though that they added a trend to the NFL, and I said that last week, but they added a trend where I think this year we're going to see a lot more teams going for it on fourth down. I don't think it's just going to be the Lions anymore.
yeah. There's a
Everyone's
there's
gonna do it.
there's a sweet spot in stepping on the gas and putting on the brakes. And I think something the Packers are actually really bad at is like when they're ahead, they just completely give up. They shut down, they suck. The Packers ahead, if I'm the enemy, is exactly the team that I want ahead of me because I know that they're going to crumble and they're going to fall. They do it every time. And sometimes they come out with a win still, but Matt LaFleur ahead 2 touchdowns is the worst spot for the Packers.
I genuinely
No,
have more faith in us in a game if we're down two scores going into half than
Yes,
I do when we're
yes,
ahead two scores going into
I
half.
agree. I agree
Like
with that.
it
I agree
is
with that.
it is a point of problem on our team. Now, how do you fix it? I don't know. Like the way that they're trying to
Coaching.
fix it is go younger, but like going younger, yeah, you're bringing hunger, but you're not bringing the veteran presence. And like we'll get into a little bit about how I feel about all that, but um let's go back to the 53-man roster conversation. Tyler, who's your surprising move for the Vikings, and who's the down like the player that you expected to make it and is going to surprise everyone?
um, I don't know, because it's like I think in a vacuum, the most surprising like move was just trading away Harrison Phillips for like 2/6. It wasn't necessarily, oh, that practice squad guy who I didn't expect to made it and he's like a fifth string guy. It's like, why did we trade Harrison Phillips for 2/6? Why did we trade Mekhi Blackman? Sam Howell, I get he just was kind of struggling. He's more of a developmental quarterback 3 than a true quarterback 2. They bring in Carson Wentz. That's fine. Yeah, we got Thielen in the end, albeit for a kind of a high price for a 35-year-old Adam Thielen, what we had to give up in draft compensation. But yeah, the two surprising moves were the ones that we didn't really expect, which was trading two valuable players on our defense. I mean, like Harrison Phillips had regressed a little bit, but he was still like a locker room leader kind of guy. And Mekhi Blackman was one of our starting corners as a rookie. And like even with Okuda coming in, he was still firmly the fourth guy on the depth chart. Now we only have 4 corners on the depth chart. It's just Okuda, Isaiah Rogers, and Byron Murphy Jr. and then Dwight McLeod. We don't have a fifth. And I just sit there and I wonder, are the Vikings going to try and sign Shaq Griffin, who was released? Are they going to try to sign Stephon Gilmore? Are they good with the depth? I mean, they have 2 corners on their practice squad in Zamea Vaughn and Fabian Moreau, who's just kind of like a practice squad veteran kind of guy who knows the defense. But is that enough? We'll see. As far as like the one guy I'm surprised that made the team is outside linebacker Chaz Chambliss. I didn't think he'd make the team at all. I thought the 5 outside linebackers were Grenard, Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, Bo Richter, and Gabriel Murphy, who was like projected to be a 4th-round pick last year. And they ended up waiving Murphy, bringing him back on the practice squad, even though he's a much better pass rusher than Chambliss is. But apparently they value special teams a lot this year with the new return rules, and they just want as many guys who can make plays on special teams, just tackling in open space as humanly possible. And it didn't seem like Gabriel Murphy was that kind of player. So for like your 5th guy on the depth chart, they just preferred the guy with more special teams ability.
That makes sense. I mean, to be honest, though, the Vikings have such a deep outside linebacker room. Now, I'll say Mekhi Blackman kind of getting traded surprised me. I know that he was a locker room guy that a lot of guys liked a lot. So seeing him get moved for the low compensation that he was moved for was kind of crazy to me. I will say the Sam Howell move was a smart move because I think Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Sam Howell. I know he's a little older, but you don't need a young backup. You need someone with experience that can help coach up JJ McCarthy. So I think that's a smart move. Harrison Phillips again leaving for 2-6. Just like there's a couple of moves that were made that were like low compensation that I know they were trying to do to use that compensation in the Thielen trade, but like now you ended up not using those picks. Like you lost those guys for picks you probably didn't need now, and like yeah, it's gonna help in a year from now, but like if you're going for
Is it going to help in a year?
well, if you're going for a guy that's
Waste is not good at
35,
drafting. He's objectively not a great drafter. Like,
and you're going for a
I
guy
think
that's
he's a great GM
35,
in
you're
certain
winning
areas,
now.
but huh?
You're going for a guy who's 35 years old. You're trying to win now. Like
Yeah, but like,
you're not, like you're not trying to win 2 years from now when you develop 6th and 7th round picks. You need to win now. Like that's the part that just confuses me about the whole moves. Now I will say though, if there's anyone's defense I trust in this division, it's gonna be Brian Flores. I mean, the guy is a proven, polished D coordinator. He's been around the league. He's had dominant defenses and multiple stops. He's shown what he can do. He's a great defensive coordinator. Do I think he's a head coach? No. I think he's a great coordinator. He's going to be exactly what Vic Fangio ended up being for however long. He's going to be a defensive coordinator that sticks around the league for a long time.
how long do you think Flores stays? That's what I'm wondering.
I mean,
Do you think
Minnesota?
he's going to get hired somewhere
I
as a head
saw
coach?
I saw an interview with him, and he basically just said like, "Listen, my wife loves it here. My kids love it here. My kids love their school. They love their friends." He's like, "I love this team. I love that the support that they're giving me." Like, based on this one interview alone, it's like, dude, to me, he has no reason to leave, and he even said if someone is going to offer me a job, they're going to have to offer me a lot of money. Kind of like, how Ben Johnson, he like didn't really want to leave right away and was like, okay, my price tag's going to be way up here, and then it basically took somebody like actually meeting that for him to
Yeah.
go. I think if Brian Flores has one more really good season, like Vikings make the playoffs, they win a ton of games, like he's going to get so many offers around this league, and they're going to pay him a lot of money, and I think he can't refuse it, but I don't think he wants to leave.
Yeah, but also if they're looking to pay him a ton of money, it's going to be a poverty franchise like the Chicago Bears. So
Probably.
like if they have the money to give to a coach and they're that desperate to pay a head coach who's like a proven, again, a Bears move wouldn't be to go get Brian Flores who has experience and be a first time guy that they've never seen be a coach before. But I'm saying if it's going to be someone who doesn't have a lot of results on their roster, who doesn't have the pieces because they can pay a coach that much money, right?
You know what?
So
You know what I think would be wild. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but if Mike Tomlin does not
that's what
win
I
a
was going to
playoff
say.
game this year,
Mm.
I could see Pittsburgh departing with Tomlin and going after Flores.
And blowing up the roster because everyone's like 35 to
Oh
38
yeah.
right
Oh
now.
yeah.
They'd have to
Oh
blow up everything. But enough of me ragging on the Bears. Tyler, thank you. Zach, who's your surprising move for the Bears? Who is the person you're thinking is going to that made the roster that's going to make the biggest impact? And how do you feel about Luther Burden changing his number 3 times in a week?
Well, start off, I would say that Ryan Poles in his third and fourth round picks are just awful, and that's going to be one of the ones I'm talking about here. Tyler Scott, I am a little disappointed in or a little surprised at. I think he was a fourth round draft pick in 2023, and wide receiver didn't really cut it. I kind of liked him. Um, couldn't even we put him on special teams, couldn't make it there. He was muffing punts, everything like that. Um, yeah, and that's just something I'm more so maybe not surprised at, especially because of who I'm, gonna give for my who I'm excited who made the team, and I'm excited to see that they use, and that's Jade Walker. Um, he had a great preseason. I think I talked about him last week as well. Just a fun guy. He's a fun guy to like. His, I think he kind of fell off in his last year in college because um, well, I think they had a new offensive coordinator that just didn't use him as much. But like, I think the guy is nasty. I think we have him as a sixth wide receiver. So realistically, who knows how much he'll play? But I'm excited to see him, make the team. He's definitely gonna play some special teams. Hopefully, we see something. Never wish injuries on anyone, but if he gets his chance there, I would be very excited to see him and see what he does. And as far as Luther Burden, um, I'm afraid he might have less touchdowns than jersey change numbers, unfortunately.
Well, so let's talk about something real quick because I got a bone to pick with some Bears fans out there right now. How are y'all gonna sit there and say that 22 looks disgusting on a receiver and then love a receiver who's wearing 20? Can anyone enlighten me on this?
It depends on the receiver and their
How are you
build
gonna
and kind
hate
of what
on
their
Matthew
game is. I
Golden
mean,
wearing 22 and your undrafted free agent is wearing
I
20?
mean, they probably because he could have got Golden in the third round, I'm guessing, but whatever.
Yeah, because Luther Burden is gonna be like a seventh round pick when it's all said and done.
No, I think I'm just kidding about the Golden part, but I think Luther Burden is definitely underrated. He should have won first round. I'm excited for him. It's just
He
not
needs
in
to
his
see the
favor that he
field
has
though, dude.
everyone. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Like, look who you got in front of you, and then you also got Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet
And
to
he
at tight
didn't
end.
practice all of camp.
Yeah,
what's his deal? Like what? Like why
uh,
wasn't he
I
practicing?
think he had a lagging ACL injury or something. But it was like since he was drafted.
And
So I,
and
I
you
don't
had
exactly remember the small injury he had, but yeah, it was like lagging all camp
the thing
basically.
that
I
really
mean,
struck my brain was sorry, you can go.
you're good.
The thing that struck my brain about the whole situation was Ben Johnson literally came out and said, "You need to see the field if you want to play.
Yeah,
Like you can't you
that was like
can't sit on the
directed right
sideline."
at him.
Yeah, it was 100% directed at him. And I know
Yeah.
that coming out of college, he had concerns about ego. So like I'm worried about. I mean, you're in a crowded room, and having that type of mentality doesn't always go well in those crowded rooms. I know from experience because I mean, shit, dude. Like, why do you think Devontae hit the books and left? Like he was a guy that knew he was at the top of his game and didn't trust our quarterback anymore and didn't want to be around that, so he took off. Like when you get qualified receivers in a room and it becomes crowded, those younger guys start to either not show the motivation, i.e., MVS and the other guys around him, or they show the motivation enough to stick around and be a piece. But is Luther Burden going to be that piece? I don't know. Like he has all the potential in the world, but I also think that a lot of the stuff that his draft profile, I think, was a lot of foreshadowing of what may happen.
I think he's a great like route runner. I think as a wide receiver, he's great. Like he should have won first round. Yeah, I think reports of him at like lack of maturity in his work ethic are probably part of it. Well, and playing at Missouri, obviously, I'm sure lowered his draft stock and his awful quarterback. But yeah, I know he's obviously got to prove it. I think Ben Johnson is a great person to counter that. Not that he has great experience or anything, but he's been with the two great offenses the last couple of years, and he knows what's needed and he knows what needs to be done. So I think he either can get that corrected or he doesn't see the field at all. Which if he doesn't see the field, taking him in the second round when it's a not needed position, that would really suck. Much like our left tackle position.
I do think the thing you can have faith in is Poles does have decent luck in the second round. Now, it doesn't always work out. Like drafts are such a crapshoot, man. And like you can have a first round who doesn't work out, but you get a seventh round that turns into a Hall of Famer. You just never know, right? But I think it's really interesting when you see teams judge a pick before they take the field. And I know that us as fans, we do that a lot. But like, you see teams kind of position players that were first round picks, and you see them put them at like a position below where it's like, let's say left tackle 2, right? Where it's a guy that came in and he has a super high profile, but it's going to take a little bit to develop him. Well, then after 2 years, the fans are like, "Oh, that dude's a bust. He's still developing. He's an automatic bust." We have it with Jordan Morgan. We had it with Garrett Bradbury for a little bit there, Tyler. I know what he started right away, but or did he develop for a little bit and then came in?
He started right away. It's just everyone hyped him up to be the next Jason Kelsey, and he wasn't even close.
Sam, I hate to say it, but JMO had a whole year of sitting out because of gambling. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like first round picks that come in and they need to sit back and wait. And I think that having a second round pick that can sit back and wait kind of lets him isolate a little bit as opposed to being a first round pick. So I think Luther Burden has a very good shot of being less attention on him, more attention to football, and not enough listening to the fans. But being in a city like Chicago that absolutely needs you to perform, like they're hyped up for you. They were excited the day you were drafted. Like they pay attention to this type of stuff because they've been waiting for their team to get better. I think that it 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 might get into his head a little bit listening to the fans every week, and that's where I worry about the mental state thing that came out in his draft profile. Now
And I think for Chicago, oh,
I
go
will
ahead.
say
Sorry.
Loveland. I think Loveland's going to be a beast. I like Loveland as a tight end. I don't think that I can say enough about Colston Loveland. I think he's going to be a great tight end. I think Cole Kmet's time is done though.
Yeah, I see a lot of trade rumors for Komet, and it's unfortunate because I think Komet really wasn't used as much as he should be. I think he was or is a good tight end or can be a good tight end, but the dysfunctional offense that we've pretty much had, I don't know, since 2000. I don't know. It's He just isn't used correctly in my opinion. So I hope Loveland with don't get me wrong, I love Loveland. I'm excited for him. Actually, my fantasy name or team name is named after him as well. So I'm uh, I'm high on him as well. I hope he's used well and better than Komet.
Tyler, I'll let you make your point, but then I got a weird fact that I read today.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think for me personally, just as a Vikings fan, I would still have faith in Burden and Komet. With Burden, I just think it's one of those things where you're bringing in a guy who's hobbled right off the bat, and look at what the Bears did. They signed Zacchaeus to a 1-year deal, so they can kind of play this off as like, okay, Zacchaeus is going to be like our wide receiver 3. We'll give Burden a whole year to get healthy, learn the playbook. I don't think Ben Johnson calling out Burden was like, get your crap together. It was more of like a welcome to the NFL. This is the standard here, in Chicago. We need you to do things, the way you ought to be doing them. But I don't think they're like, freaking out over Burden internally. It's just more of a standard thing. He does it to everyone, including Caleb. And then Komet, I was actually writing an article the other day, and in it mentioned Komet as one of the Bears' weapons. And in 2023, he was the 8th highest ranked tight end in the NFL. So I think that potential is still there. It's
With
just the
Justin
Bears
Fields as
haven't
quarterback.
really, yeah, they haven't really had all the pieces at quarterback and coaching to really maximize that talent. And when you look at the depth chart on the Bears website, it lists 2 starting tight ends. So it's 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. It's not 11 personnel. So I would expect that they're going to use Komet probably more than Zacchaeus, which bodes well for him.
I read a fact today, and it said that Justin Fields had 36 turnovers since 2021 or something like that, where it was
And I
like
think probably,
fumbles.
yeah, I was gonna say 20 of them had to be fumbles because that guy was
I
fumbling
did
whether he
not
lost them or
know
not.
that.
Yeah, he like for a while, I don't know what year it was, but it was like halfway into the year and he was averaging, I don't know, 2 or 3 fumbles a game. Not necessarily lost, but he was fumbling
I
often.
do, and I do like what the Jets are trying to do. I know, off topic, real quick. I do like what the Jets are trying to do with Justin Fields. I'm talking about this because Justin Fields was a part of the NFC North, right? But I like that they're trying to bring around the Ohio State guys and make that work again for him. But again, I think his time's fizzled out. I think he's done. So I didn't realize his turnovers were that much of a problem, though. I always say I think he's a better quarterback than Caleb is. The jury's still out on Caleb. I joke around a lot. I give Zack a lot of crap, but in reality, I don't know. And um, I just think the dude, I can't stand Caleb. I just can't stand him as a person. So you're gonna hear me
I mean,
rag on him a lot.
and I get it. And there was actually, I think, well, Roma Dunze, I think he was asked by some reporter about the Caleb hate, and then he was on the St. Brown Brothers like podcast. I think that was today talking about that. Like the Caleb hate is just like for no reason. Like the dude threw like 3,500 yards. He had 20 touchdowns and 6 picks. You can say what you want, but that's an okay stat line for a rookie with a terrible O line and 2 offense coordinators. So like, I know they won what 6 games, 7 games,
You
but
can't say
Tell you,
terrible. Oh, sorry.
no, you're good. It's not what he's doing, it's how he's doing it. He is hateable, and watching him play football is when we joke about it being Kyler Murray 2.0, the
yeah,
reason
yeah,
we say that is because he snaps the ball, runs 15 yards to the right, and then gets sacked. And then I get to sit here and watch all of the Bears fans blame the offensive line when it's like, how do you block for a guy you don't know where he's going to
yeah.
be? There's a reason Tom Brady's offensive line was always so good, is because they knew exactly where he was going to be. You have no idea where Caleb's going to be. Kyler, same deal. He snaps the ball, runs around 7 times, and then throws it 80 yards down the field, and there was a pick or an incompletion.
I also don't know how you can say the Bears had a terrible offensive line last year and think that improving the guard position and center position was enough. Because where I saw you guys getting killed was the tackles. I saw you guys
Yeah.
getting killed at the tackle position almost every single week, and you're gonna trot out the same 2 tackles that got you killed.
Just quick looking up. It's PFF, so take that with a grain of salt. But I know they ranked them. I don't know. Mid 20s, I think, offensive line, and now obviously it depends of what.
24.
Yeah,
They were the
24th. Yeah,
24th ranked offensive line last year. So
and I think they spent like the lowest amount or something like that, or the like bottom 5 lowest amount on their offensive line. Like that's not a recipe for a good offensive line. And obviously, I've talked a lot about Braxton Jones, and he gets a lot of hate on Twitter about him. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I to your point, like you're putting the same guy back out there, but the hope is that you upgrade it everywhere else, that he can just do his job and be better. But
I get it,
and
but
the thing
like
with Caleb, oh yeah, the thing with Caleb too is kind of reminds me of Carl Anthony Towns a little bit, where you've got this immensely talented player who's admittedly, I hate to come off as homophobic, but he's a
I'm
little
about
bit
to say, hold on, why'd you
zesty.
say cat here?
Yeah, Carl Anthony Towns. Like, Cat was an immensely talented player, but he was also incredibly frustrating to watch because he'd commit these stupid fouls. He'd complain all the time. Great person off the court, but just kind of a bit zesty, a bit of a cornball. And I see the same thing with Caleb. And I just remember as a Wolves fan watching the Carl Anthony Towns experience for about a decade. No matter how good Cat played, he always got completely unfair criticism. It did not matter. Like, granted, Caleb did not have a great rookie year, but there's going to be a point where Caleb starts to live up to the hype. And when that happens, people are still going to make the same jokes about Caleb Williams. They're gonna make fun of the nails. They're gonna make fun of his, his body language, and like he might not have even may just like improve in that facet too. Like he may, mature off the field and learn to kind of PR a little bit better, so he's not as much as an easy target. But people are just gonna still rag on him for the same stuff that he did as a rookie, and it's never gonna go away. Like casuals are just going to rip on Caleb because he is such an easy target.
I think people hate him because he cried in his mom's arm in college.
I
That's
genuinely
it.
no. I'll tell you
That's it.
seriously, the interview that made me hate Caleb Williams. I'll tell you it 100%. Is draft night when they got Rumo Dunze and this dude's like, Uno, we got Uno, we got Uno. Shut the fuck up. You got your wide receiver. Congratulations. But the way you're presenting it, you're acting like you're winning the goddamn Super Bowl and you haven't even stepped on the goddamn field yet. Like, be happy about what you got. I get it. But you didn't see Jordan Love doing a goddamn parade in Green Bay when we drafted Matthew Golden.
What's wrong with being a hype man, though? What's wrong with being happy you got a receiver?
You didn't see Kirk Cousins go right around Minnesota with his pants off saying, thank God we got Justin Jefferson today. You didn't see Jared Goff go streaking down the street talking about how they got Amon-Ra in the second round and how that was such a steal. Or third round? Was it third round or second round?
As a fan, I think that's what you want to see. Like
the way
emotion.
He did it was so annoying.
I don't know. I love it as a Bears fan. So like, I think you just say that as a Packer fan because like you love to see that emotion. Like I'm a big baseball guy. Like Pete Crow Armstrong, great young player. He plays with so much passion. Like it's just so fun to see, and that's like what Caleb Williams does. And
So
it
before I
just
move
makes as a fan, it
topics,
makes me feel better.
I have a question for you, and this is how I'm going to present it, and we'll leave it dead ended. People can answer if they want to, and then we're going to move on. Is it passion or is it ego? Because the way I look at it is, oh, we got the piece I need because it's me, or it's the guy I wanted. It's not passionate about the team. It's passionate about because he got what he wanted, and that's what I don't like is the fact that he seems selfish.
Passion fuels ego. If you're really passionate about something, you're eventually going to develop an ego. And, some people are better at managing that ego, but
I think
you can't be a number one overall pick and not have a little bit of an ego or something about you where you think you're
to
the
be the
guy.
best. I agree.
Yeah. You have to have a certain self-belief, and maybe it extends too far for Caleb because this is someone who, I mean, up until his rookie year was lauded as this generational prospect. Whether or not you agree with it, like there's a article on Sports Illustrated that uses the word generational when describing Caleb Williams before he even gets drafted. And like that word just gets thrown out there so much. Like post Andrew Luck, I think Andrew Luck being as good as he was hurt the term generational. Because ever since Andrew Luck, like NFL draft media has been trying to look for the next Andrew Luck, the next number one overall pick that comes in and is instantly like a top 10 guy his rookie year. And most of the time it doesn't happen. They tried to do the same thing with Trevor Lawrence, generational quarterback. Surprise, he's a rookie. He struggled. They do the same thing with Caleb Williams, and it's like, I don't know. I think those guys, they have a certain belief in themselves, and once they hit the NFL, reality starts to hit. And I think he's just starting to realize it now that like a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So we'll see what happens.
I think my hatred for Caleb Williams started when he wanted part ownership in whatever team drafted him. And I took that. I seriously, like, for one, do you know how valuable the NFL is? And
Wait, was that real? First off,
yes. And I I look at that like Michael Jordan, right? Like when Michael Jordan made his deal with Nike, I don't know if you guys know the story or whatever, but like before that, people didn't give a percentage per shoe to the player. Like that didn't happen. It was
Like royalties weren't a thing.
Right. It wasn't a thing. And that's essentially what that would have been. So I don't know. I don't know him like that, so I'm sure Caleb is a nice guy and all, but I think, yeah, particularly he just rubs me the wrong way.
The next thing I'm gonna bring up here, I gotta fix my Discord because it keeps stopping my music for my kid. But the next thing I'm gonna bring up here is I want to talk about some transactions that occurred this last week. Um, Now I know that the Bears moved over some money today. I'll let Zach get into that. I know they have a tryout with Isaiah Foskey. Um, Zach, how are you feeling about all that? What are they trying to accomplish there? Are they going to re-sign Brisker instead?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I saw this morning, yeah, that they cleared up like 8 million moving or restructuring Jalen Johnson's contract, and immediately I saw, what's the move going to be, and you just automatically think defensive end, but there's not really much out there. Um, Honestly, I don't know. I didn't look too much into it either. I hope it's for some defensive end help or our running backs because, before we started this, I think it was Sam said something about Brees Hall, whether that's where they explore or something. I could see them doing a running back because um, I think it was on Tuesday. They had only DeAndre Swift active for practice because everyone else is hurt. Travis Homer is on injured reserve. Like there's something has to be done. So making that restructure today, I think it's got to be one of those two, in my opinion.
Zadarius Smith to Chicago.
I've been
That's
hearing
why I
that
see
a
the
lot.
rumors.
I've been
Yeah,
wanting
the
that a lot,
rumors.
but I think
And
Foskey is a better move. He's only 24, like 24,
yeah,
25. Like he's young
I
and he
saw
was a
something about
product at Notre Dame. I think he's
yeah,
a beast.
he's crushed it in 27 career games.
Yeah, he's an absolute
That
monster.
that was
Now
sarcasm.
I'm gonna have no. I'm serious. I'm being serious. I think that he had a rough start to his NFL career, but he's on the other side of Cam Jordan, which is great. But who
Eh,
else do the Saints really have?
Well, I was to say I think he was with Dennis Allen, wasn't he, too,
Yeah, yeah. It's a
for
familiar
1 year
feel.
maybe?
It's a familiar feel. If Dennis Allen wants it brought in, it's because he sees something in him. So I'm gonna move one question, and then I'm gonna have to run and start my kids' music again. So I'll be right back really fast, but I'm gonna start with. I already know what the answer is on this. So Tyler, talk about Adam Thielen going to Minnesota.
Well, I'm really happy it happened. Number one, uh, there was a few days before NFL cut down day where me and my dad were just on like Adam Thielen watch every single day, F5, refreshing the Twitter feed, trying to get every latest like Schefter, Rappaport, Pelissero, like what's the latest on this trade? Is it going to happen? Is it going to not? Or is it not going to happen? Um, and we thought, hey, this should get done on the weekend, and then it didn't. And it's like, okay, or what is it? It's Monday or Tuesday. It's cut down day. I believe it was Tuesday. Um, and it's like, okay, now or never. And the deadline passes, don't get them, and it's like, okay, it's over. Carolina's gonna keep feeling. As soon as we thought that, it gets finalized. So I made a hype edit for Adam Thielen on Twitter where I used Ozzy Osbourne, "Mama, I'm Coming Home," and that was kind of like 2 minute long. Just welcome back, Adam Thielen. Like as much as I was excited about it, and as much as I think it's a great move on paper to bring back a veteran who knows this offense, can can still be like a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3 long term. Gave up a lot, really did. Like fourth round pick, but yeah, I think we gave up a fifth, right? Could be wrong. I don't have it in front of me, but it was a fourth plus, and then it was also a pick swap element to it, to where like we were getting back like a seventh and like a sixth.
That was my
Could be
biggest
wrong.
knock too. Is the biggest knock for me was giving up a fourth for Adam Thielen. Seems a little steep. It does.
they tried to mitigate it with the pick swap. They're trying to mitigate it with the trades of Harrison Phillips and Mekhi Blackman, so Kwesi can look at his sheet and be like, "Yeah, we gave up a lot, but we look at all these day 3 picks that we were able to salvage in return. Now
And
we
he
have
can
enough
still use
draft
him to move
picks,
up.
but yeah, we gave up a lot. The Panthers had all the leverage, and honestly, I blame Sean Payton. I blame the Saints because the Saints giving up a 4th and a 7th for Devon Vele, who was like over 4,
Haunts me at night.
just
That
screwed
trade
up the
haunts me at
market.
night.
Screwed up the market. Now, every team wanted at least a 4th round pick for any decent receiver, and there weren't that many to begin with. Like, no one was really trying to trade receivers away. So it just made it really difficult to buy and not overpay. So, do I like the Adam Thielen trade? Yes. Did we overpay for it? Absolutely. But I'm going to be really excited for week 4 when I'm in Ireland and Addison is back and Thielen is out there as wide receiver 3 and not Jalen Naylor. Because Naylor is so frustrating, man. I don't know if this is a great comparison, but Ontavian Wicks, where he's like an elite separator,
No, it's
dang,
Laquan
never
Treadwell.
catches anything.
Don't ever disrespect Dontavian Wicks like that. That is Laquan Treadwell.
No, Laquan Treadwell can't separate, but he can block. Laquan Treadwell was a glorified run blocking receiver. That's all he was good for, and just latching on to practice squads. Jalen Naylor is like, he's always hurt. He catches maybe 50% of his passes, but like, dang, can he get open? He's fast and he's a pretty decent route runner. He's just either hurt or drops passes. So it's infuriating because you see the talent is there, but he's just never gonna put it together.
The trade that I'm surprised you guys didn't make though, and I'm gonna make this very apparent. Then I'll let Sam talk about the Lions transaction. But why haven't the Saints moved off Olave? Like, let's talk about it. They're not in a win now mode. They can get a lot of capital back for Olave. Olave's had concussions, so there's a little bit of concern
Yeah,
there, but they can still get capital back on that. Like,
I do think they should get rid of him while he's still worth something.
I
Because
agree.
if they're not going to use him, and his entire career is going to be wasted. And maybe he's fine with that because he's making money. But like,
He's an Ohio State guy. They want to win. Like, those are guys that come to the league with
yeah,
a chip on their shoulder because they've been at a big school and they've been playing big competition their whole career. Not getting Chris Olave out of New Orleans for any team, and I understand they might be asking too much right now, but like, eventually that price got to lower. The dude's 25, and like, when he's on the field, he's dynamic, but it's a matter of keeping him on the field. Now, to his defense, it's gonna be a lot easier to stay on the field when Derek Carr isn't throwing you hospital balls. But I think that he could still be dynamic on a team. Um,
Well, that's why those like the Saints are tanking. They're like one of the only teams in the NFC where you look at them week 1 and it's like this team has no chance at all. They're not in a hard division, but they have no chance with Rattler or Shuck at quarterback. They just need to accept the fact that they're gonna suck this year, try and tank for whatever quarterback will go number 1 next year, and that's why you keep Olave. You keep Olave so that when you draft a quarterback again, because they shouldn't have drafted Shuck in the 2nd round, or that you at least have Olave there with like Vele, with Rashid Shaheed, and whoever else they have. I think they still have Kamara at running back, right? So, you know, try to give a rookie some weapons and hopefully you can make a run in a fairly weak division. So I get why you don't want to trade one of your best young players, but
am I the only one that
sucks for
thinks
him.
that Rattler isn't the issue though?
No, he's 100% the issue.
I don't
bad.
think
He's really
Rattler's
bad.
the issue. I
Did you
think
watch him play at all last year?
it's
It was
his
horrible.
first year starting,
He's
dude.
Oh, it was horrible.
he is
Oh, it was
just
bad.
not a good quarterback.
Like,
It's bad.
I don't know. I think their defense is also a problem. Like, I think that there's a lot of problems that the Saints have, and I don't think Rattler is 100% of that issue. I mean,
Their
half his
issue is
receivers
that they're
get
just
hurt by
too
week 4.
old.
half his receivers
Another
get hurt by week 4. Like there's nothing you can do there. And then Alvin Kamara barely can stay on the field nowadays.
He
So
should consider starting Taysom Hill at quarterback.
I
Genuinely.
okay. So let's talk about the next move. Tim Patrick being traded, Sam. How you feel about
Yep.
that?
I'm okay with it. We're talking about a guy who is, he's got to be what, 31 years old. When you watch him play the sport of football, he wasn't exciting. Okay, like if you have seen Tim Patrick play football, he is slower than a tight end. He's really tall. That's what he's got going for him. But he's slower than a tight end. He's not quick. He's bad at route running. He just finds himself open, which is great. And I was happy to have a guy on our team who could find a way to get open. You know, he had his role and everything, but I'm happy with the 6th-round pick that we got for him. And honestly, I don't know how we smooth talk the Jaguars into giving that at all, because I feel like, why, if you're gonna go for someone that old, why would you? I know this player is a different play style, but why would you not just go for OBJ? Why would you not go get like Tyler Boyd or DJ Chark or like one of these guys who are already on free agency who like would be cheap and would not cost you a draft pick?
Didn't
know?
Tyler Boyd have like a career bad year last year though? Like all time career bad.
I mean, yeah, he was with the Titans. The
And
Titans didn't.
Chark was already with the Jags and didn't work out. Like
I know,
I
but
think they burned bridges on both ends. But
you know what I'm
OBJ, I
saying. In
agree with
general,
you.
I'm not saying those players specifically.
I
I'm
get
just
what you
saying
mean.
like
Yeah.
there's no way to me that somebody, he had, Tim Patrick, he missed 2 years, which if you include the off seasons feels like 4 years of injury, massive injury. And when you watch him play, you can see the injury still on him. You can see it. I mean, he doesn't look necessarily good, so he must be in an extremely niche role. I will say that the Jaguars also got Josh Reynolds. What was that, a couple years ago? Josh Reynolds is on a different team now. I don't even know who he's on, but this was like a couple years ago. And I think they saw how the Lions used him, and they liked that. And Josh Reynolds, that year before he went to the Jaguars, he had like the highest yards per catch out of any receiver in the league, and it was like 21 yards or something crazy like that for through like 15 weeks of the season. It was insane. I think that's maybe what they have in store for Tim Patrick, but also he's just so slow. Like Brenton Strange, your tight end, is faster than him.
I think the thing that the Jags are looking for is they got two very dynamic young receivers. I think they needed a veteran mindset. I think that Tim Patrick is, whether we like to say it or not, I think that when the Lions brought him in, it's because he had a dog mentality of just being I think he's a hardworking dude. He's one of the harder working dudes
Oh
on
yeah,
that team.
yeah.
So I think it's to bring in that type of mentality to work with Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter. I think that's going to help a little bit. I do agree with you that there's many of other options out there for a 6th-round pick. You could have saved the pick, but let's also not act like the Jags have always had the best history and track record of doing the right thing. I mean, dude, like they got 3 running backs right now that all were like really decently picked and it picked in the draft that are like 3-4 years apart. Like you can't just keep drafting running backs and throwing darts at a board. You need to eventually let one develop and work on one. Also, side note for you, Josh Reynolds is with the New York Jets.
Yeah, I did remember that after I said that.
I don't know how he's with the Jets because that team seems to be getting younger, but he is with the Jets. So, does anyone have anything else to talk about on Tim Patrick? Or should we move on? Because I'm itching I'm chomping at the bit.
Getting
right
him
now.
for like a 6th-round pick was pretty good.
I think that's a fair take too. I think a 6th-round pick
here's-
is bad for Tim Patrick. You
here's
guys got
what
him as a
bothers me.
undrafted free agent, right? Like as like a free agent deal or no?
Got
Sam.
traded, right?
Sam,
He got traded. Tim
what
Patrick
did you guys pay for him though?
Oh, I don't know.
It had to be
We
low.
we got a 6th-round pick for him. That's all I know. But I think what bothers me about the Devon Vele trade so much, like I literally, I lose sleep over this trade because not only did for some reason they found that he was worth more than what he was drafted for, even without showing any reasoning behind that, but also, him being old, right? Like Devon Vele is only like 3.5 years younger than Tim Patrick. And Devon Vele has been in the league for a year. Like, there is so much wrong with that situation, and the Saints doing that just makes that team even more hateable, in my opinion. I would hate to be a Saints fan. I would hate to be a Saints fan.
And suck.
So reading here, it says the Broncos announced they would be moving on from Patrick, seeking a trade. After failing to finalize a trade, they released him. The Lions then signed him to the practice squad. So you guys paid nothing for him and got a 6th-round pick out of it. That's always fair to me. That's
Yeah.
always fair to me. I think that if you can make an easy come up on a player you're no longer going to use. I mean, look at Rasul Douglas. We made a 3rd-round pick out of that. Like that, those are still picks you can utilize. You guys know what I'm going to talk about, right? It's time to talk
We all
about it.
know.
It's time to talk about it.
I'm surprised
So
you've buried the lead for
I
this
want
long.
everyone to look at this sweatshirt right now. This is how I'm feeling, right? Hold on.
Sweatshirt.
Got something else for you. Hold on. This is how I'm feeling. This right here. This is how I'm feeling. So
Looks fake.
it is. Micah Parsons to Green Bay is a wild move. Now, it's either going to pay off really heavily or it's going to suck for us in the future because there's this back injury thing going on right now. After hearing JJ Watt talk about how he had an epidural, I don't think that it's as major as people are talking about because when you're watching him hit the sled, it looks natural now. I saw practice film. I feel comfortable with the transaction happening. Now, people are all talking about how Kenny Clark had to leave in order to make this trade happen. And to me, I feel like that's a fair trade-off. Kenny Clark had a career low year last year. Yes, he was injured. Yes, he got injured in Brazil. We all know that, right? Yes, he took a step back. But he's also 30. That doesn't mean he's going to come back from that injury and still be good. You're 30 years old at this point. You're a good player, but ultimately, this team is young. We're the youngest team in the NFL. And we just got younger by adding Micah Parsons to our roster. Now, we know how Green Bay feels about draft picks. They don't trade picks, ever. If they're moving 2 first-round picks, how do you think they feel about the player? And then they give him number 1, which has not been worn in 99 years. They know something enough. They ran a full physical on the guy. We were sitting at Sam's apartment before a fantasy draft waiting for this press conference to come on. I watched it from the time I left my house, drove 30 minutes to Sam's house, sat at Sam's house for 30 minutes, and he was still getting a physical. They ran him down pretty well to figure out that he had a back issue. They knew about it. I feel like that's just the Cowboys camp trying to make Jerry Jones look a little better. Now, a scary thought is seeing Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons blitz your quarterback on both sides because both of them are, I'll say it, I think Rashawn Gary's a good pass rusher. I think Micah Parsons is a great pass rusher. And if you add those types of players, that's where things can start to get really, really interesting. I don't like the take that Micah Parsons isn't good against the run because if you look last year, who had a higher run defense grade than Kenny Clark? Micah Parsons. So I don't want.
That's such a low bar. Come on.
I don't want to sit here and act like we didn't get better against the run. We had TJ Slayton on the defensive line looking like a goddamn all-pro against the run. You can put a guy who is big enough to just be there and clog the hole, and you'll be fine. And we have that in TJ Slayton. The Cowboys don't have an Edrin Cooper. They don't have a Quay Walker. They don't have an Isaiah McDuffie, who are sure linebackers. They don't have an Evan Williams, who's going to come up and play the box from safety. They don't have Xavier McKinney, who will float around the field. They don't have 3 corners that can go out and cover that people are looking at like, oh, it's just a scrub room. Dude, your corners don't need to be premier corners when you have 3 seconds to throw the ball. So you're going to have to really look at our defense a little differently now that we added Micah Parsons to the defense. And when you're looking at a D-line room where Colby Wooden put on 30 pounds, and obviously they feel a good way about that because they weren't going to let him walk out on the field and be a nose tackle and then move Kenny Clark if they didn't feel good about it. This franchise is known for doing decent when they come to a decision like this. So to me, I see people acting like it's the Reggie White move. I don't think we can go that far. I think the gravity of it is that large. I feel like it is a big move. You just don't make moves like this ever. Do I think it's a Reggie White move? No. I'm never going to compare someone to Reggie White. Do I think
What if
that
what if
Micah
the
Parsons?
Packers win the Super Bowl this year?
Still not a Reggie White move, dude. See,
Alright.
Reggie White was called the
If it's not a
minister
Reggie
of
White move,
defense.
why are they giving him number 1, which hasn't been worn in 99 years?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean? Like they're treating it like a Reggie White move,
Yeah, they're going to.
but it's not a Reggie White move.
You get a 26-year-old player who's about to probably not retire a Cowboy anymore, who's gonna probably retire a Packer. When it's all said and done, you get a 26-year-old pass rusher he's already has what, 54 sacks in 3 years or 4 years? 56, 54.
Yeah,
It's like minimum 12 a season.
Seasons
So-
or something
so-
like that.
Yeah, it's something like
Yeah,
that.
you get a guy like that to your team, you're gonna want that guy to have your best number. I'm sorry, like let him make the decision.
There's nothing wrong with him wearing 1, but you can't like downplay the gravity of like, oh, no one's worn this number since Curly Lambeau, but also
So
hedge it by saying it's not a Reggie White move. It's a Reggie White move.
Side note, they're also kind of lying a little bit. I'm gonna put this out there. A couple of years ago, there was a guy that made our practice squad, or no, I'm sorry, that was in our 90-man roster that wore number 1. So I don't want to act like he's the first person ever to wear
Okay,
it.
but
like,
no one cares. It's the
it's
practice
an
squad.
unofficially
No one
retired
cares. It doesn't
number.
count.
So
It-
I don't know. I feel like people treat it like it's going to be this ultimate Reggie White move, and I think that we need to see results in the field before we act like it's a Reggie White move. We've seen results of what he can do in a Dallas Cowboys defense.
You don't need results to understand intent. That's my
Correct.
thing. Is like,
I get that.
here's where I'm at with this. Does Micah Parsons make that defense a hell of a lot better? Absolutely. But like, where I struggle with this is not necessarily the compensation. I mean, 2 first-round picks is a lot, but he is worth it. Like, he is a one-of-one caliber player. It's not just Green Bay traded for an elite pass rusher. It's they traded for arguably the best pass rusher in his prime in the NFL. Like, there's a difference between trading for like a top 10 wide receiver and then trading for Justin Jefferson. They traded for the pass rusher equivalent of Justin Jefferson. Like, it's a huge move. They're gonna get better. But are they good enough to win the Super Bowl this year? I don't know.
Healthy.
Now Jordan Love.
I don't like
Zach,
like
you shut
when
your
you
mouth.
give up 2 first-round picks like that, you have expectations. 10 wins and 3rd place in the NFC North isn't gonna cut it anymore. You like there
Yeah, I
needs
think
to be results.
We had 11
like,
last year, actually.
or 11, 3rd place in the NFC North, right?
I think any other
I don't know what kind
division.
of team trades 2 first-round picks like that, and then and also argue, you know, this wasn't an all-in move. It's an all-in move. You're trying to make a Super Bowl push. This is a Reggie White move. But like, are the Packers built to make it that far? Like, I have my reservations about Jordan Love. I don't think Jordan Love, as talented as he has been consistent enough in clutch moments to lead the Packers to a Super Bowl. Quite honestly, and I know Sam's going to hate this take, I think Jordan Love is a little bit of a Pat LaFleur merchant. I think he benefits from a scheme that tries really hard to avoid putting him in pressure situations. You know, give the ball to Josh Jacobs, have a great defense, you know, do everything in your power. And that's good coaching. I can't fault him too much for good coaching. But I don't look at Jordan Love and see a top 5 quarterback. So like, you know, how far can Green Bay go in the playoffs? Can they win a playoff game? Yeah. Can they win 2? Yeah. If they're playing the Chiefs, are they going to win a Super Bowl? They're playing the Bills. They going to win the Super Bowl?
Can we honestly say that the Bills or the Chiefs have a better defense than the Packers right now, though? Because we ended the season last year.
Yeah, better quarterbacks than the Packers.
Hold on. We ended the season last year with a top 5 defense, and that was without Jair Alexander and without Micah Parsons. And that was with Kenny Clark playing his statistically lowest season. That was with Edgerrin Cooper coming into a prime and a brand new defense. Can we honestly say that either of those teams have a better defense? Because last I checked, what's the phrase? It's not offense wins championships. What is it? Defense wins championships. Now I will also say, when Christian Watson is on the field, the Packers average a full yard more per play with Christian Watson on the field than without. And he will be back by week 6. So add Christian Watson to fold, add Matthew Golden to fold. They just paid Zack Tom, who is a great right tackle. They add Romeo Dobbs, still there. Dontavian Wicks, still there. Jaden Reed, dealing with an injury, might not play the best of his capacity. That enters Matthew Golden to have a prime year right now, right? There's all a bunch of opportunity. I get what you're saying about pressure situations, but I also think the Packers have done a great job of building an offense around Jordan Love. And I think if you look at last season where he was top 5 in QBR, even playing on a bum knee, top 5 in QBR is not something to play with. That's still a dangerous quarterback. Does he make some bonehead decisions sometimes? Absolutely. You know who else made bonehead decisions? Who won a Super Bowl for us? Not the last one, but the one before that. Who won that Super Bowl for us?
Favre.
Oh, okay. So who made the bonehead
Are we
decisions
gonna
for
compare Jordan Love to Brett Favre?
No, I'm saying that mentality, that definitely is the same thing as Brett Favre right there. Brett Favre gunslinging down the field, yes. Now, did I see Brett Favre ever
mentality
fit it in?
versus execution.
Hold on. Did I ever see Brett Favre fit it into a window this big while 3 defenders are in the back of an end zone? No. Did I ever see Brett Favre lob it up 30 times a game and throw 2 interceptions, come back and still lead us to a victory? Absolutely. Do I think Jordan Love can have that same mentality? Absolutely. He just needs to be more on the killer side than we'll just let it happen. And that's where he needs to tweak his mindset a bit. But I think a fully healthy Jordan Love, we're looking more at 2023 than 2022. Or I'm sorry, more than 2023 than 2024. 2024, he was still 25-11 with a 96.7 rating. And he had 3,300 yards. You look at 2023, he had a less rating, but he had 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. So he's only thrown 11 interceptions a year, but he had 4,159 yards. So people don't talk about it as much. They say 2023 was better when statistically last year was better for Jordan Love. He missed 3 games and he still ended up in the playoffs. And he still ended up having a good team around him. And I think that with all the injuries they dealt with, including their own quarterback having an injury to his knee, I think that's still something that speaks volumes. I don't think you can sit there and say Jordan Love is not a good quarterback. People joke about it a lot, but if you give that man time, he's going to cook you.
I think I have to agree with Tyler on that. I mean, you look at the top 5, best odd teams to win the Super Bowl. I mean, it's the Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs, then Lions and Packers. I mean, those ones ahead of Lions and Packers, what do they have there? An elite quarterback. So I won't
the Eagles
say.
do not have an elite quarterback. Stop it.
Well, he won a Super Bowl MVP.
The tush push is not a quarterback thing.
He won
I
a
will
Super Bowl throwing 12 passes a game. That's not a
I will
quarterback.
say yes, he's no Josh Allen, in my opinion, but I would take him on my team. I don't think Jordan Love is, I'm not going to say Jared Goff is that either, but he's no Josh Allen, he's no Patrick Mahomes, he's no Lamar, and those are the teams that have to win through, and I just have to agree with Tyler there.
But
And here's the thing with Jordan Love. It's not that he doesn't have talent. Like, he's got arm talent. He's got all the physical tools. For me, it's consistency. And the thing with the playoffs is your margin for error is so small. Like, these games are dictated by single plays. Josh Allen is one of, if not the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, straight up better talent-wise than Mahomes, even if Mahomes is more accomplished. And yet, like 4 straight times, he's lost an AFC Championship game. Just by very, very slim margins. And I think Jordan Love is kind of like Josh Allen, early career Josh Allen, where he's going to gunsling it, but he's going to make a lot of mistakes in the process. And when you're in a playoff setting and you dang near have to be perfect. If you're going to play the Chiefs, if you're going to get to a certain point past like the NFC Championship game or the AFC Championship game, if you're any team, like your margin for error is just so small. And I don't really trust Jordan Love to not make a couple of mistakes a game that will ultimately lose a game, regardless of how much talent you put around him, unless he plays perfectly. Like he has to be straight up JJ McCarthy at Michigan, where you minimize mistakes. You
You
know,
cannot sit there and compare a college quarterback to a guy who's actually won the playoffs, though.
I mean, McCarthy won a national championship.
No, he won because he's a product of Jim Harbaugh. You can't sit there and say that one quarterback's a
But
coach merchant
that is
and
the
the other one's a
blueprint for
coach
success.
merchant.
That's the
No,
blueprint for success for Jordan Love is be a product of the
they're
system, Matt
completely different
LaFleur's system.
QBs, though.
Hand it off to Josh Jacobs. Make the right plays. You don't have to be like your entire argument earlier was Jordan Love doesn't need to make flashy plays all the time to win a Super Bowl. Defenses win championships. He has all the talent around him.
Correct.
Okay, do that. Execute at a high level. Minimize mistakes because when the margins are that small, I mean,
But the margins,
know,
you're focusing a lot on this interceptions thing, and people also aren't accounting for the fact that his receivers had the third most drops in the league last year, and 3 of those interceptions
perception's
that
got to
he
change.
hold
You got
on,
to get more reliable
I'm
receivers.
Tyler. Let me finish. He had three interceptions that were due to bouncing off a receiver's hands, and people want to sit there and act like he is the problem there. He's not. People can't sit there and belittle the dude for throwing passes on the dime and then having people not catch it. That's not how it works. Like we can sit there and talk about how the margin for error is smaller, right? We could talk about that all day long, 100%. But last I checked, Mahomes had more interceptions than Jordan Love last year. So I don't want to hear that anymore. And Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback that scares me if we run into him. I'll be very honest. Josh Allen doesn't scare me as much. I know that their offense scares me. Their defense scares me a little bit. Josh Allen, he makes mistakes too. He's human. Mahomes scares me, but not as much as Lamar. Lamar scares me because Lamar, you don't know what he's gonna do on any given play. Jalen Hurts, he scares me because the Eagles have Saquon, they have AJ Brown. It's a product of the team around him. But to act like we can't go through those teams, we beat Mahomes. We beat Mahomes in 2023 before the playoffs. We beat him pretty handily. We walked into Dallas and we dropped 40 on Dallas's head before halftime. We lost to a San Francisco 49ers defense by 3 points in a very, very, very close game. For people to say that Jordan Love can't go into can't go into a stadium and walk somebody down, it's false. He has walked somebody down before, and that was before Josh Jacobs was here.
I think he's what, 5 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in the playoffs, right? He's 1 and 2 or something like that. I mean, to what you were saying about being a product of the coaching or team around, I would agree that Matt LaFleur is one of the best coaches in the league, and that certainly helps alleviate his negativities that he may have. Um, I just the same thing. As a Bears fan, like with Caleb Williams, we haven't really seen it, and you could say Jordan Love has his great throws. I will give him that. I think I was actually at the game you're talking about, that tight window throw in the back of the end zone, was that against the Texans?
Yep.
Yeah, I was at that game, and yeah, that was a crazy throw. Like he does that, but I think it's more so of a LaFleur product there.
Sam, any take before we move on?
I am a huge fan of Jordan Love, actually. I think that Jordan Love is extremely
All right,
capable.
cancel this guy.
There's things about each of these teams that I like, and Jordan Love is the piece of the Packers that I actually do really like. I don't think I don't think his play style has meshed with the Packer system up to this point, but I do really believe that they're going to figure it out. I think having a reliable running back with Josh Jacobs does help. I think they leaned on him a little bit too much last year, so I don't think they're going to do that as much this year. They've got plenty of playmakers at receiver. I think this is a year that we see Jordan Love unleashed. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Um, I I do agree with some of the comments you guys have made about the playing into the system that is provided for you. It's a reason why I actually love Jared Goff with the Lions. Like I don't think the Lions ever needed a Lamar Jackson. We needed somebody who can just come in and run the system as it's designed. When you have those playmakers who are too exciting, that's when it's hard to build a system because then they tend to just go off and do their own thing. And so I think Jordan Love is actually a good balance. Like he's capable of making plays, but also is putting, it feels like, the system first. So maybe it's taking longer than we anticipated to figure that whole thing out. But the this NFC North division is hard. This is by far the best division in sports, and I think unfortunately, kind of all four teams are in a win now position. You don't see that a lot. We see these like Saints and Cardinals division, like whatever. Like it's like one team is the one who's kind of in a win now position, and everybody else is struggling behind. This is the one division that's like all four of these teams are like we have players now, and we want to win now. So it makes it really competitive. So it makes the journey until the playoffs a lot harder. So for Jordan Love, yeah, it's going to be harder to get to the playoffs. And then once you're in the playoffs, it's like, damn, we just worked our ass off all season, and it felt like impossible to even get to this point. Now we're at this point, and we just barely make it to the wild card or whatever it is. It's like it just feels like a higher hill than teams like the Chiefs. Well, I guess that's not even a thing anymore because I feel like that division's getting pretty competitive now. But you guys know what I'm saying.
It's
I
mentally exhausting to
Yeah,
like have to drudge through a tough division, and then you're in the playoffs, and it's like not like every regular season game was a playoff game, and now I'm
yes,
just
exactly.
burnt out from it. And yeah, it's people rag on the NFC North because none of the teams made it that far. We're all first round exits in a way. I mean,
Well, we
Detroit
did
was
that to
one and done.
ourselves.
You know,
We did.
yeah, Detroit was
Yeah,
one and done. Minnesota one and done. Green Bay one and done.
yeah.
But like, black and blue division. We duked it out in the regular season to a point to where you get to the playoffs and you know
The
you're
conversations are
basically
always,
fighting going uphill.
it's such a close battle too, and that's why the conversations get heated. The only team that really can be cast out always is the Bears, usually. But like even the
Yep.
Bears have a good roster. Like, you,
On paper, yeah.
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. But
Hey, like
Perennial
you said,
off-season champs.
it's
no longer the
tough
offseason champs.
to
Packers are now.
it's tough to get excited about, the things that happen, Ben Johnson and everything they brought in until, you really see it because it's just the same thing every year. Like, just be good like 1 year in my life, basically, is what I'm praying for. I mean, I got 2018 and then I have to rewatch the double doink just randomly scrolling through Twitter and I'm like, what are we doing? Like, just randomly. Like, come on.
I mean,
What's worse, double doink or Blair Walsh? Like if you
I
were
mean,
forced, I want to ask Sam and or the two Sams this: if you were forced to watch one of those plays for the rest of your life, which one would you rather choose?
I would rather watch the Caleb York double dink because that one's funnier to me. That one's funnier to me, but the Blair
to,
Walsh one does suck. So
to
I
me,
empathize.
to me though, I don't want to watch any bad kickers. We had three of them last season, and finally we got McManus, and I don't want to watch any more bad kickers. But if I had to watch one, it would be the Bears. The double doink was so freaking funny, dude. I remember sitting there in my living room at my dad's house watching the game, and I'm like, damn it, they're gonna do it. Like they're gonna end up going on a run. And I was all pissed and I was all upset, and then he missed it, and I was like, no fucking way, or no way, Cody Parkey misses this kick, no way, bam,
yeah.
happens. And I remember looking at Zach's Facebook, and his Facebook said,
Yeah.
I literally hate my life.
I literally, I remember my jaw just, I had like the Matt Nagy look, you probably seen that picture, I'm sure. Like, that's exactly what I look like. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Dude, his
Yeah.
How do you
hook.
guys? How do you think I felt when Justin Tucker hit that 67-yarder
Oh,
against the Lions, and the missed penalty, and there was just so much that was like, you know what, the world just decided that the Lions were going to lose this game at all
Also,
costs.
I have to put something out there as a penalty that was called because you said false penalty. I gotta throw it out there. Aaron Rodgers really sold that face mask to let the
Oh
miracle
yeah,
in Motown
yeah,
happen because there was no
yeah.
face mask on that play.
Oh, we know. Oh, we
there
know.
was there was no face mask on that play. Aaron Rodgers sold that. Like,
Oh yeah,
all right,
yeah, we know. It
so
hurts. It still hurts.
to week one. So we'll get into NFC North. I want you to say that for last. We're just gonna shout out who we think is gonna win the games of the week. Right? Let's make it fast, easy for that, and then we'll get an NFC North right after that. Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. I mean,
Cowboys.
you got a
Eagles.
defense without Micah. Like Tyler,
I already
Eagles,
got the
Cowboys.
Eagles.
Who you got?
Eagles, unfortunately.
I want them to lose
I'm
too.
the odd man out. I think the Cowboys are going to be a slightly better version of what the Bengals are.
You're a
they
Dak
got-
believer though, so
No,
that's
they
part
got-
of
I
it.
am a Dak believer.
They got-
I think Joe Burrow is better than Dak for sure, but I think Dak is going to show out this year. I
do
truly believe that.
think I agree with you to an extent. I think Javonte Williams might show up this year for the first time ever in his career, but I think that George Pickens being added is really going to help that offense, and I think that Jake Ferguson's a good tight end. But
Ferguson.
can they keep up with the firepower that the Eagles have and are about to put down? Probably not. I don't think they can beat the Eagles. I think they
take
might win
issue with that
later, but
Bengals comment, man. Like you're trying to tell me that Dak Prescott and George Pickens at wide receiver 2 is better than T. Higgins and Jamar Chase?
No, I never
So-
said
so
they were
how
better.
could they be a better version of the Bengals if like the receivers
team-
and quarterbacks are worse?
I think the team in general, the
supporting
defense is
cast.
still better. The defense is still better than the Bengals. The support in the organization is still better than the Bengals. The stadium is better than the Bengals. There's a lot of things aside from the
So
offense that are
on top of that, though, even on the offense, the running back position is better on Dallas. The tight end position is better in Dallas, and the offensive line is always better in Dallas. So the supporting cast, Joe Burrow has wide receivers. He's got nothing else. Chase Brown still has yet to show up for him. So I can agree with Sam on that. All right. Chiefs and Chargers. I'm going to say a
Chiefs.
shocker here. No, I'm going Chargers. Omari and Hampton's
Right.
about to go crazy. And I think that they got Trey Harris. I mean, they got Keenan Allen back in Los Angeles. They're really warming up to something here. I got Chargers on this one. I think Justin Herbert's about to go off, and it's due time where they.
I think
they
he wins a
win.
playoff game this year. I think
They-
this is his year.
They got Harbaugh. Like this isn't the same pushover Chargers team anymore, and they're bringing back some legends on their team. I'm going Chargers on this game.
I'm going with the refs. It's Taylor Swift just got engaged, and this is the season opener. Do you seriously think the NFL is going to let the Chiefs lose in Brazil right after that? There's no shot the Chargers win. It doesn't matter. The Chargers would have to blow the Chiefs out to win. If this game is within a touchdown, which it will be, there's going to be some BS in there somewhere that allows the Chiefs to win.
Yeah, but
it's just welcome to the regular season. The Chiefs are going to be gifted a win somehow, some way, and we should all just get used to it.
hot take: the Chiefs lose, but Taylor Swift gets promised halftime at the Super Bowl. Zach, what do you think?
Taylor Swift, honestly, if she gets to do the halftime show at the Super Bowl, let's just call off the entire season. What are we doing? Just
My wife
give
might
the
actually
Chiefs
kill
to
me.
Lombardi at this point. Because if Taylor Swift is at halftime at that Super Bowl, the NFL is going to make sure the Chiefs are in there to maximize interest, and then they're just going to rig the game for the Chiefs. Maybe I'm being really cynical, and I probably am, but I can't wait until either Travis Kelce retires or hopefully that marriage gets called off. And
Zach, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with you. I think Chargers here.
That's what I'm saying. When the betting guy goes with me, that's what you go with. By the way, just want to put that out there.
That doesn't mean I'm betting on them. However,
All right, let's. All right, Dolphins and Colts. Daniel Jones versus Tua. Let's talk about
Wait,
it.
that's a primetime game?
No,
Are
it's
we
a
doing
noon.
all
It's
the
a
games?
noon game.
Yeah, it's a
We're
noon.
just doing all of them. We're skipping over NFC North until we get to those games. But I think this one's self-explanatory. I'm going Dolphins. I have zero faith in Daniel Jones. I'm sorry.
Actually, on contrary to your comment, I actually see something in Daniel Jones. And I think I'm the only person in the entire world who does. I think there is something in that Colts offense. Look up Josh Downs' stats with a white quarterback. I'm telling you, it's different. Josh Downs is like with a white quarterback is insane. Look it up somewhere. But so despite this, the Dolphins, when they start their seasons, immaculate. So I'm choosing the Dolphins.
Honestly, I'll take Colts on an upset. You know, I really need that comp pick for Daniel Jones to really be as high as possible. So I'm rooting for his success. And Jonathan Taylor still exists. I don't know how good Miami's run defense is. And they seem like the kind of team where if they get punched in the mouth, they're gonna kind of dissolve fairly quickly. Like they just traded Jalen Ramsey. Like one of their starting corners is Storm Duck, and the Colts have some pretty decent receivers. So I would not be surprised at all if the Colts can, do some Daniel Jones runs, some Jonathan Taylor runs, some check downs here and there, and eke out a win. Why not? Give me Indy.
Zach?
Yeah, I'm actually going with Tyler. I think the Colts as well.
Let's go.
Okay, so this one's going to be the fun one for everyone. Steelers or Jets? I am going to put a hot take out there. And it's not because I believe in Justin Fields, but I believe in their defense with Aaron Glenn. I'm saying the Jets. I think that there's a lot of firepower at the running back position on offense. They're guaranteed to score. But I think that their defense is really good, and Aaron Glenn leading it is just going to make it that much better. I do personally think that out of the two coordinators, I think Aaron Glenn was a better coordinator. I'm going Jets.
I actually think Steelers are going to win this one. I know that this is Aaron Rodgers' last year. I think he is going to do everything in his power to show like his old self. I mean, not mobility wise because now he's old. Like you can see it in his practice film. Like he's not agile anymore. But I do think that he finds a way to get it done. I think he goes back to his old self. I don't think he throws anything north of 7 interceptions this year. Um, so I think the Steelers are actually going to be pretty good this year, and I think that starts off the season with against the Jets.
I think the Steelers have more talent, but I believe in the Jets coaches a little more than the Steelers coaches, particularly Arthur Smith. I'll take the Jets by 3.
Yeah, I
Zach?
think they're actually Steelers are favored by 3. But I would have to go with the Steelers here. I mean, just a better defense. I mean, that's mostly it, actually. Mostly just the defense here. Um, yes, I'm gonna go with Steelers.
All right, Panthers and Jags. What a shit game.
I don't think that's a shit game. I think both of those teams are on the come up. I'm excited about the Jaguars, Liam Cohen offense, and Bryce Young. He's on the upward trajectory. So I think that game's going to be good. I personally do believe the Jaguars are going to take this
I'm
one.
saying Panthers. Dude, you got Ted, you got Leggett, you got no Thielen, but you got
Joker's hurt.
some depth. Yeah, you still got depth. Like, don't act like they don't have Horn Jr. As a backup wide receiver who does look good. Like, the only thing that upsets me about the Panthers, and I'll forever have a hatred towards them for it, is actually it's not really them fault, but like it's really sad to see Jonathan Brooks not healthy. Like it really hurts me. It pains me because not only is he on my fantasy team, but seeing him play in college was one of the most electrifying feelings in the world, and not being able to see him on the field hurts. So I'm gonna pick the Panthers, but it hurts to see that this is the offense we're rolling with this year right away. Like
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jags on this. I trust Liam Cohen as a offensive play caller. I trust Trevor Lawrence more than I do Bryce Young. And losing Thielen's gonna hurt them. Not having Coker's gonna hurt them. I don't think the Panthers have a good run game, and just without those receivers, without really a great tight end, I think that passing offense is really gonna struggle. So I'm gonna take Jags.
Zach.
Yeah, I'm also gonna do Jags because I trust Trevor Lawrence at home more. He's been, I don't want to say historically, like we have decade-long uh, numbers, but he's just been better at home as a
Side,
favorite anyway.
side note, and I'll make this fast. Do you guys think Trevor Lawrence has a ton of pressure on him this year?
Yes.
You just got paid like Joe Burrow, man. Like you got to perform.
He got
They
paid a
gave
lot of
you
money, and now
weapons.
he's in an offense that has a somebody who can organize that talent, and he has the talent. And I think now the ball is actually in his court. I think if
Yeah.
he can't do anything with what he's got this year, then maybe it's time to start thinking in a new direction. But I think he shows a lot of promise. So I like Trevor Lawrence.
I don't think he has an insane amount of pressure. He definitely has pressure because he just got paid and, new offense. Now he has a bit of weapons, but it's still a new offense. So even if he starts slow this year, he's still in the weak enough division. You can still probably give him another year after this year to figure it out before you really start having those conversations of like, should we move on from Trevor Lawrence? So I think he's moderate pressure is a good way to put it.
Zach, what are your thoughts real quick?
I mean, I feel like he should have been or feeling pressure pretty much every year he's been in the league. Just the same thing that is with Caleb Williams, just with where the pick comes. Like he's never really performed great. I mean, I don't remember what year it was. He had an all right year, but he's never been exceptional or anything like that. Where I feel like he should have the same type of pressure pretty much every year that he's been in the league. I just feel like he slides under the radar every year.
All right, guys. Cardinals or Saints? Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Guys, I don't think we even need to discuss it. Like this
Yeah,
is, it's gonna be a blowout with any team that plays the Saints. Like,
Yeah, no, we can just go to the next one. There's no devil's
well,
advocate here.
okay. You ready for this great one? Commanders and Giants. Commanders.
Commanders, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Buccaneers and Falcons. So this game might actually be kind of closer. It's a divisional
Ooh.
game. I'm going. It's week 1. I'm going Buccaneers. I think Baker's gonna pick up right where he left off. And you can never count Baker out in my mind. I like Atlanta's talent, but I think the Bucky Irving trend is gonna keep going. I think Baker's a good quarterback. I'm going Bucks.
The last time these two teams played, was this not on I think it was like a Thursday night, and I think Kirk Cousins threw, or Kirk and Baker Mayfield, like it was like a shootout. I think I remember this game. And I expect nothing different with this game. But I do think Buccaneers come out with the win. So
I'm gonna take Atlanta here. I like Bijan. I like Algier. I think their defense is a lot better this year. I don't know. I think there's just a certain ceiling with Baker where it's kind of a cap ceiling. We know who he is. I think this is kind of, Michael Penix's chance to show how pro ready of a quarterback he was coming out. And I like him better as a pure pocket passer more than I do Baker. So I'll take the Falcons.
Yeah, a week 1 divisional game is typically pretty unpredictable historically, but I'm going to also go Falcons solely because half of my fantasy team is on the Falcons offense. So
Did you guys see that CBS messed up Michael Penix's name and actually put Michael Penix Jr.? Like they actually put it on a news
yeah,
broadcast.
Yeah.
What?
they know
Take
what they're
them
doing.
down.
Yeah,
They knew what
it's
they were
definitely on purpose. Someone got fired over that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Bengals,
for sure.
Bengals or Browns? Bengals.
Bengals.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's even gonna be close.
I think this is the year the Bengals actually start off the season well. Usually it takes them 8 weeks to figure it out, but I do think that they switched some stuff up this year. I think that they're going to start the season ahead of the game.
I just don't think the Browns have the firepower to keep up with them at this point. I mean, defensively, yeah, you got Denzel Ward, you got Myles Garrett, but offensively, you got 50-year-old Joe Flacco out there playing traffic cone. Like you're not gonna have the talent that you need to get there right away. They're working on Taylor Gabriel. They're working on Shador. I don't think they're ready yet. They got Judy, sure, but like Judkins still hasn't signed a contract yet. I'm going Bengals.
I'm as high on Kevin Stefanski as anyone. He's a former Vikings offensive coordinator, so I like the guy. But like he is a play action pass kind of run the ball play caller. He's more LaFleur than O'Connell. So They don't have Nick Chubb anymore. We don't know what the deal with Judkins is. Their quarterback situation isn't all that great. I think Jerry Judy's their number one receiver.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah.
That's not ideal. I'll take the Bengals on this.
Zach, what's your thought?
Yep, Bengals. Not really a thought, but
Not really a thought. It's crazy. Raiders and Patriots. So
Ooh.
this one's interesting to me because I'm gonna go Patriots, but I think that this is where my hot take is really gonna come in. I think when it's all said and done, Henderson is gonna be a better running back than Genty. And I think that it's not going to be as close as people think. And I think the Patriots did a lot of work on their wide receiver room. Stephon Diggs is all, I mean, it makes them a little worse. But like Sam and I talked at our fantasy football draft, Efton Chisholm looks really good. Kyle Williams looks really good. You got a bunch of young dogs in there that actually look like they're about to do some work. You still got Vrabel there. I think when Vrabel's there, you can count him in. And I think the defense is still going to be stout. I'm going Patriots, and I don't think it's going to be close.
Patriots for pretty much the exact same reasons.
You know what? The Vikings played both these teams in the preseason. I'm going Raiders. I don't believe in the Patriots' offensive line with Garrett Bradbury at center and the guards they have and the tackles they have, outside of Will Campbell, at all. I think the Raiders have strong enough defense and with Pete Carroll as head coach to where they can kind of wreak havoc defensively, with their front four. And I like Geno Smith and his ability to evade pressure. He's a veteran quarterback, knows when to run it. I could see this being one of those games where Drake May kind of struggles a little bit, not due to a lack of talent, but just because I don't think anyone's going to see the Raiders coming, and I think the Patriots are going to be the first victim of that as kind of a younger team. So I'll go Raiders.
Zach?
I as well will be going Raiders. Drake May. I don't like Drake May, honestly. That's mostly the reason. I like
Is it
Pete
because he's
Carroll,
better
and I
than
like
Caleb Williams?
whatever helps you sleep. I think Genty's gonna be rookie of the year, so I mean I believe in him. Raiders.
I mean, I would believe that too if my team didn't get a chance to pick him in the first round.
I wanted him, man.
I know
Oh,
you
and for what
texted.
it's worth, too, the Vikings lost to the Raiders in the preseason, but I believe we beat the Patriots.
I will
so.
never forget the moment that the Bears missed on Genty, and I was standing in the crowd physically laughing at Zach. And then I remember when they drafted a tight end, and I laughed even harder because I thought you guys were gonna go O-line. Like, Niners and Seahawks. So here's the thing. Darnold is a good quarterback, but the Niners, I think they're gonna slack this game because they kind of got a cupcake schedule. I'm gonna go Seahawks. I just saw actually as we're doing this right now, just so you guys are aware, Juwan Jennings just signed an agreement that makes him a free agent in March, so he'll be on the field. That changes a little bit of things for me. I think it's gonna be the Seahawks winning this game specifically because I trust Darnold, but I think the Niners have a real chance of really taking off this year and going back to the playoffs again.
Does it say in the tweet if Jennings is ready to go week 1?
Let me take a look.
Did Schefter drop a little note on his health if he just agreed to a deal?
It says Juwan Jennings agreed to a contract adjustment that allows him to hit the market in March, and it's Rossini, by the way, your favorite.
God.
It says elite. Yeah, it's the Athletic, so it's just hit me with a bunch of ads. But continue on. What are you guys picking?
49ers, my opinion. I like the 49ers strength of schedule this year. I mean, it's the easiest schedule by far. I think the team has a lot of returning healthy players. Um, I just think this is the year that the 49ers say, I'm sick of it, and I think that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win it, but unfortunately, I think they're going to go.
So Juwan Jennings did practice today.
Okay, so he's healthy. I'm taking Seattle. I think they are a much healthier team right now. And I think Sam Darnold is capable of shocking some people. I think people thought Darnold was just a product of the KOC system, and maybe that's true to an extent, but there was talent there. He was a former third overall pick, and I believe in Seattle's coaching staff enough to where you give him Cooper Kupp, he has JSN, they're ready to go. The Niners hardly have any receivers, hardly anyone healthy. I mean, that defense and free agency, they lost a lot of pieces. I'll take Seattle.
Zach, what's your thought? Zach?
Typical Bears fan.
That's it. Niners.
Okay. Titans and Broncos. Broncos. Not even close.
Yeah, what are you
Cam
asking
Ward
here?
has a
Broncos.
Cam Ward has a brutal first game. That's gonna be like an
That's
ass kicking of
tough.
a full time. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be
Throwing
real
against
bad.
Surtain on your first game has got to be like the
Worse than
torture.
Justin Fields against the Browns first game?
Uh, yeah, I think that seeing Sertan and then having
That
to
was
worry
awful.
about Benito hitting you in the face and then having to watch Bo Nix come out and drop 4 tutties on you is going to be terrible.
Wasn't Justin
Yeah.
Fields sacked like 14 times that game?
I mean, yeah, but the Bears fail to build an offensive line every year, so I'm not too surprised about that. Skipping over this game because we're going to talk about it at the end. Texans and Rams, though. I'm saying Texans. Texans. I think that Stroud's gonna have his comeback year. I think he's gonna look really good this year. I like the Jaden Higgins pick. I like the Jalen Noel pick. I like I like Nico Collins coming back. I think Chubb being in addition to that running back room with Joe Mixon is crazy. Their defense is good. They got Daniil Hunter. They got Will Anderson. They have a hell of a team. It'd be hard for me not to pick the Texans on a lot of weeks. So I'm going.
I like the Rams defense more than I like the Houston offense, so I'm
Sure.
choosing Rams.
I'll choose Texans. New offensive coordinator, so maybe their play calling gets a little better. But yeah, that one's a tough one, but I'll choose Texans.
Zach.
I go Rams. Rams, just only concern is obviously Stafford. He's, I don't know, 56 years old. That's really the only problem I would be worried about, but I'm going Rams.
I think it's so weird that like you'll scroll Twitter and some Lions fans are like, "Yeah, please hurt Stafford this week." It's like, whoa, hold on, bro. Like, what? Why?
We love Stafford, dude. When Stafford won that Super Bowl, I literally fucking cried because it was so many years of people telling me Lions can't win a Super Bowl because it's Stafford. Stafford's the reason, and it like gave me a lot of validation that no, that wasn't the reason. The Lions needed a culture change. It wasn't just the quarterback position, and so I think it gave me
Were
a
you
lot of
not
validation.
jealous a little bit though that
I
like
wasn't. Mm-mm.
Dude,
I
he
was
got to
not.
enjoy
Any
Megatron
now
in his
they start
prime.
glazing him after he leaves for
any
LA, but when he's
any
Detroit, it's just
true Lions fan was not jealous because we knew that we could not support him. If Stafford would have stayed on the Lions, he would never would have gotten a Super Bowl because he was never supported. Whereas he went to the Rams and immediately Stan Kroenke, I mean, he was like, "We are going to go all in. We are going to give up our entire future if we have to, and we are going to win the Super Bowl." And it worked. And then the draft picks that they had left, the very few amount of them, they absolutely hit on. And somehow that team is still a contender. So like, the Rams are doing it well. I actually like the team. I like the organization. I think they're going to continue to do well. And Stafford will play. People who think he's not going to play don't understand how tough this man is. He's been sitting out the entire offseason because like he's had back injuries in the past. He knows the gig. He'll end up playing. He'll find a way to play, and he'll play well. As he
Tyler,
always
who did
does.
you pick?
pick Texans. I kind of regret it because now I remember their offensive line. Ed Ingram is the starting right guard, and Cam Robinson is the left tackle. You know what? I'm changing my pick. Can I change my pick? Well, let's
No, it's
go
locked
Rams.
in. Nope, too late.
Ah, fuck.
Zach, what's your pick?
I already gave my pick. It was Rams.
Just making sure because I
Yeah.
forgot. Ravens or Bills?
Ooh.
I'm going
Ooh.
Ravens, man. You can't count Lamar out. He's actually the best player in the league. Like Saquon's a good running back, right? But like a do it all player, Lamar. I can't count him out. You got a defense now that has it looks like Jair's playing. So you have Jair for the first 4 weeks of the season for sure. You get him combined with Nate Wiggins. You get him combined with Marlon Humphrey, with Kyle Hamilton, Mike Green coming off the edge, and then you also go to the offensive side of the ball, and you got Derrick Henry, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Rashad Bateman, who started coming into his own last year. You really had and Zay Flowers. You got some pieces, and it'd be hard for me not to pick the Ravens again. Just like Texans, Ravens on any given week for me.
Man, this is a tough one. My gut tells me Bills, so I'm going Bills. But honestly, like if you put a gun to my head and said pick one, like it's tough. It's like 50-50. That game's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah. For me, I'm gonna go Baltimore on this one. If I recall correctly, anytime I watched the Bills last year, I just didn't think their run defense was that good, and they're going to be going up against Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson all game long, and just the talent that they have on offense. The fact that Jair is going to be healthy at least in Week 1, I think Baltimore usually is the better pick in the regular season against the Bills, and then the playoffs it kind of goes the opposite direction. So.
As I said, Jair for
Give
the first four
give the
weeks.
Ravens their regular season win against Buffalo, and then they'll choke in a divisional round against Buffalo. So
Zach, what's your pick?
I think the Ravens are favored by a point or something on the road, but I'm going Bills. At home, I don't even think they lost last year, and I think they beat the Ravens at home last year as well. Um, so yeah, Bills.
Okay, so this is where we do something untraditional. So, um, obviously we have to talk about Lions and Packers and Vikings and Bears. We're not going to talk about our teams though, because that adds bias to it. I don't want to do that. These assholes below me are going to pick on me because I'm a Packers fan. They're probably going to go against me because they think it's hilarious. I'll let them do whatever they want to do. But just start off kind of how we want to do it. I'm going to start with the Monday night game. So, Sam, let's talk about Vikings Bears. Personally, I'm going Bears here. And it pains me to say that. But the reason why is I trust their defense more to cover, and we know what Caleb kind of is more than JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy he could be a good quarterback, but like you still got to worry about the pieces coming into the fold. Adam Thielen just got there. It's not like he's going to adjust right away. You don't have Jordan Addison. You have a defense that just lost some pieces with losing Mekhi Blackman. You lost Jordan Phillips. Is that his name? I think that's his name. I know it's Phillips. Harrison Phillips. Thank you. Jordan Phillips is the Bills guy. But you lost a couple pieces on defense that I still think were decent pieces for a locker room. I do think that the Bears covered this game, and I think that we're going to see truly what their new O line can do. Now, that being said, I still think Grenard is going to wreak havoc. So don't think that it's going to be a distant game where the Bears are just going to take off with it. I think it's still going to be close. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of points on the board. I think it'll probably be like a 10-3 Bears win.
I struggle with this one, and believe it or not, I actually like Kevin O'Connell as a coach more than I do Ben Johnson, which is crazy because obviously we had Ben Johnson, with the Lions, but it hurt me when Dan Campbell didn't win Coach of the Year last year. But if anybody was going to win it who wasn't Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell was like the only other coach that I would say is worth it. I believe in Kevin O'Connell as a coach situationally over Ben Johnson. So if it comes down to a coaching standpoint, I'm picking the Vikings. However, I think the Bears come out really hot, and I think the Bears win against the Vikings. However, I do think that flame fizzles as the season goes on, and I think the Vikings end up finishing above the Bears in the division long term. But I do think this first game, the Bears are going to take it.
That's kind of where I'm at with the same thing. All right, Tyler and Zach, feel free to rag on me. Packers Lions. I already know what's coming.
You know, if you had asked me this question before the trade, you know, I would have. I wasn't sure then who was going to win this because Detroit's offensive line is worse now than it was last year. That interior offensive line, if I'm a Lions fan, it scares me because you have a rookie guard who's trying to play out of position at center. You got like a former a 6th round pick like Mahogany, one of the guard spots. I don't know, that scares me because I think Ragnow and Zeitler were really critical to your team's success. Like I know Sewell is great, but you know that I don't know. I don't trust the Lions' offensive line. I'll go Green Bay just because they just added Parsons, and I think they can win just by overwhelming that offensive line in the first game. But yeah.
Same thing. I know we were talking in our group chat about when the Parsons trade happened that I don't think it really changed for the team winning the North and when I really thought back and looked at it or when I had some time to really think about it rather than just trying to talk trash in the group chat. Um, I was more so. I think it definitely makes it more even. I still believe in the Lions. I'm gonna have to go Lions here, just with the recent head to heads. I mean, I don't remember what happened last year. Did they split? Or no, they got
No, it was
swept,
a
right?
2-0
The
sweep.
Packers.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
swept.
because I think they won like what
We
three
we
straight
lost
wins
by
at Lambeau.
we lost by a field goal in the last game.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, 6 of the last 7 Lions have won in 3 consecutive at Lambeau. I mean, I like Dan Campbell. Obviously, we took basically the entire Lions coaching staff. So I mean, I like them. So I'm going Lions.
So, and just a fast point, and I'll put this out there, really quick. But the thing that is going to be kind of a make or break it for that game, for me, is the fact that Micah and Edgerrin Cooper are kind of alike, where they're both dynamic, can move around the line, and still blitz from anywhere. I think that's going to be an added bonus to the play. But I, I also will not be an idiot. I'll tell you that the 2 games that I got most pissed at last year were the Packers and Lions games because it pisses me off because every time we walk on the field against that damn team, we show up with like a ghost of ourselves. It's not the
I
same.
don't think what I'm scared most about this game is not the team itself. I am scared of the energy in Green Bay for it. This is the first season opener for Matt LaFleur, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Ever.
At
Yeah.
Lambeau. And so season opener, 2 competitive fan bases. You just got this huge ticket player, right? Which people are excited to see, and it almost just you not only paid for the player, but you paid for hope. Now your franchise fan base isn't going into this game thinking, is this going to be the same Packers of last year? The fan base is thinking, what can we do this year? That's a huge mindset change, right? Now the people going to this game are bringing that energy. I think that's what I'm scared of. I'm not necessarily scared of the team. I'm scared of the fan base and the atmosphere and and how loud that place is going to get.
I'll echo your statement on just the energy. Um, there were definitely points last year where you looked at the Bears and you could kind of tell that the players didn't believe in themselves based on the coaching that was there. And what scares me is just like, I mean, the Bears have always had, like, the fan base has always had these expectations, before the season, and then every year they get disappointed, they're disappointed. But like, this might be the first year where the team inside that building shares that same belief that the fans do. And if everything comes together right, like Sam said, you know, they're gonna come in with a lot of energy. And I feel like the Vikings think they're the better team than the Bears. but that can be kind of a double-edged sword because it gives you confidence. But if you kind of overlook your opponent a little bit and you don't realize how much they believe in themselves, that becomes an issue. So
If you think that Ben
that
Johnson
that
team's
moment.
not going to be hungry, you're going to get caught slipping for sure.
Yeah. Also, the Turf Monster. Apparently, like they've had a ton of concerts at Soldier Field recently, and
Yep.
He
they're
said, "Yep."
gonna they're
It's
gonna
a
put in
pretty
the
known
turf
thing
at
on
the
Twitter.
last minute, and Jefferson's kind of got this hamstring thing where he's good to go, but they're really managing it, and Soldier Field plus a lingering hamstring injury thing is just I'm nervous about that. Like if the field is not where it needs to be and Jefferson gets hurt, we're losing. Straight up. Like no Addison, no Jefferson. Thielen, being your number one wide receiver like he's on the Panthers all over again. Yeah. Against Jalen Johnson, forget it. So
Zach, any worries for you before we wrap this up?
My only worry is if Caleb doesn't throw 5 touchdowns on the Vikings. I mean, like, that's really it. I mean, I already bet the Bears. Like I said, my money's on them already. So not really. I don't have a worry. I'll be
Caleb,
worried.
that would be
I'll be worried if
literally a quarter of his
if Caleb
touchdowns.
throws 175 yards and 2 picks. Yeah, that then I'd be worried.
Like you realize
But
that 5 touchdowns is a literal quarter of his touchdowns from last year, right?
yeah, but you're talking about the future MVP though.
I don't see Jordan Love in that conversation.
Well, I wasn't talking about a top 15 quarterback, so that's why.
You're talking about a bottom 30, which is Caleb Williams. All right. Well, we'll wrap this up real quick. I appreciate everyone sticking in. I know it's 2 hours. We like to talk, have a good time. But yeah, so that's been the Kings of the North. I'm Sam. You can follow me on Twitter at Sam Willikit. To my right, that's Sam. I don't know your at. I'm sorry.
Timerless.
I'll get better at that. Tyler, you're at.
either talks ball.
And Zach does sports bets on the side. If you guys are interested, feel free to take a look. He'll have some over-unders that you can definitely invest into. Also, some other bets on the money lines. Correct, Zach? I believe.
Yeah, I do a lot of spreads, I would say, in the NFL.
Okay. But his at, I don't know how to say it, so you can say that.
At is I'm vigorous.
Well, I'll drop these all down in the comments. So I appreciate everyone sticking in, and have a great night.